Hello, welcome or welcome back. I'm Erica, and today we are getting into something kind of embarrassing for me, but we are going to look at and clean my fridge and then restock it with the Trader Joe's run. We're gonna go through some of my Trader Joe's favorites toward the end of this video, so do stick around if you want to see that. But yes, like I said, I'm exposing myself. I am having trouble finding things in this fridge, and it is just physically dirty, which is gross. So let's go ahead and clean it. The first thing we need to do is clean the kitchen. We want to start with a nice fresh palette, and so the kitchen needs to be cleaned. That includes all the dishes in the dishwasher, a coffee break of course, and I am going to clean out the sink. We're going to be using the sink as a landing ground for some things later, so it really needs a full-on vinegar or baking soda type clean, which is what I did. Now I am cleaning a staging area for myself. I have this lovely island where I can keep things. I've got my cleaners out, so we're ready to move on to emptying the fridge. Now I am okay with the majority of my food being out for a decent amount of time, so I pulled most of it out other than the dairy products, which stayed in for all of this, but it is just coming out onto my countertop that I cleared earlier, and I'm doing my best to group like with like at this point, and we'll talk a little bit more about that later. But as you can see, everything is coming out, and I'm gonna check some expiration dates as I do it. We'll talk more about that later too. But yes, I'm already seeing how grimy the fridge is and exposing my fancy sparkling water habit here. So produce is coming out, and look at that produce drawer. It's just disgusting, but that's okay. We're gonna clean it later. Okay, again, I'm so embarrassed, but this is what my fridge looked like after about 6 months of not having been cleaned. So let's move on to taking the fridge apart and cleaning the pieces of the fridge. So I'm pulling all of the pieces that come out easily out of the fridge, and I'm getting ready to wash them. I'm using an all-purpose spray that is food safe, I believe, but I'm also going to just rinse everything with the sink. And here's why we really wanted a very clean sink. I'm also setting them aside to dry. And while they dry, we're gonna do a couple of things. We're gonna review the expiration dates on all of the food that's out of the fridge. I'm not especially picky about this, but anything that was so expired, or if it wasn't looking or smelling good, then I tossed it the proper way. So, you know, I hate to waste food, but it happens, and we're doing this fridge clean out so that it is less likely to happen because I'll be able to see everything and not waste food. So I'm getting everything ready to be recycled or into the dishwasher, or if necessary into the trash. I do compost, so that's good. Moving right along onto step 5, which is cleaning the inside of the fridge. Using a damp cloth and some all-purpose cleaner, I am going in and cleaning very thoroughly. You can see, so satisfying. Here I go. Using some elbow grease as necessary here. I really wanted everything to look and actually be clean. So that's what we're doing, making sure that it's very clean, and moving on to cleaning the products as well, just with a microfiber cloth and a little bit of cleaner and some water. Why put the products back in the fridge if they are covered in grime after you clean the fridge out? So this step I think people often forget, but it's well worth it in my opinion. And yeah, look, I've got duplicate ketchups because I had ketchup. All right, time to put everything back together. I am thoroughly drying the drawers and getting them back into the fridge. Look at this satisfying moment, the before and da-da, the after. It looks so much better. Let's load some groceries back into it. So I'm getting like with like here, so you can see all of my Asian/Japanese condiments are on the left-hand side. I've got my hot sauces and barbecue sauces over on the right, and now we're going back into the main compartment of the fridge and the crisper drawers, where I'm loading the fruit into one side and the veggies into the other. I believe I decided, yes I did, that peppers were a fruit in this case. Yay. Okay, I'm getting the rest of my condiments into the fridge and the cheese into the cheese drawer along with some tofu, and we are just rocking and rolling, getting the fridge as organized as possible before we move on to the freezer. I sped this up because It is just a repeat of the process we did with the fridge, but also because this does need to go fast. The food is frozen, we want it to stay frozen, so I am doing as quick a job of this as possible. I am just wiping out the insides. It did not get as dirty in here because the food in the freezer is necessarily frozen, so that makes sense. All right, so we're gonna move right on over to the outside of the fridge, which for me just meant taking down the things that I store on top, wiping the top off, reorganizing a little bit up there, and then spraying the fridge down. And so nice. I ate that Indian food for lunch. Okay, time to restock the fridge. Let's talk about some of my Trader Joe's favorites. I feel like the produce at Trader Joe's gets kind of a bad rap. I think partly because it's all wrapped in plastic, which is a bummer. But all of these things that you saw me unpack, I love. The lettuces, the bagged salads, the Persian cucumbers, the bananas, and I really like their frozen produce, so I do take advantage of that. The proteins that I bought, I love that Atlantic salmon. I'm using the ground pork for a recipe that I'm testing, and I'm obsessed with that unexpected cheddar cheese. I repurchase it on the regular. Now, I also do love their organic dairy. It's generally well priced for New York City. Their dried fruits and nuts are also very well priced. Again, I live in New York, so pricing might be different in your area. I've got some canned goods here. I love their tinned fish, their pickles, their anchovies, yes. And I also love some of their sauces. I'm obsessed with that pepita salsa, and the soyaki is great. Now onto some snacks. Yum, love the seaweed snacks. I am new to both these cheese bites and the lentil rings, but I love them and I eat them regularly as of the last few weeks. I've been repurchasing them. Desserts. The peanut butter cups and hold the cones have my heart. I love both of those desserts so much. And again, with the sparkling water habit, but yeah, it's the reality. I love a Spindrift, I love a Sanzo. I'll drop a Sanzo link below actually for you all. But here I've got Spindrift because that's what they've got at Trader Joe's. Oh my god, yay, it's time for a before and after reveal. We made it to the end of the video. Look at that before, it's terrible. Ah, gorgeous. It looks so good. I'm so happy with it. I'm so happy with myself. I am feeling so much better. This took me about 2 hours and it was well worth it because I will not be wasting food. It will feel organized. All right, have a lovely, well-fed week ahead.